Hello friends, in this video we will study the classification of embedded system based on the size of the system. Based on size, the embedded system they are classified into small sized, large scale and the sophisticated embedded system. Here we will study that which embedded systems come under these three categories, and we will also see some of the examples of these embedded systems. So let us start with our topic. The embedded system, they can be classified on the basis of various categories. So here we will see the classification on the basis of size of the system. So based on this criteria, the embedded system, they are classified into three categories. First is small scale embedded system. Second is medium scale embedded systems. And third is sophisticated the embedded system, they are classified in these categories based on the size of the system. If the size is small, then it is called small scale embedded system. If the size is in the medium range, then medium scale embedded system. And if the size is very large, then it is called the sophisticated embedded system. Let's start with the small scale embedded systems. We know that in the embedded system, the main part or the heart or the base of the embedded system is the processor. This processor can be either the microprocessors or the microcontrollers. So in the small scale embedded system, the microcontrollers and microprocessors which are used, they are of the size 8-bit. Okay, so 8-bit microcontrollers or 8-bit microprocessors can be used in the small scale embedded systems. So systems which are designed using 8-bit microcontrollers like 8051 or the 16-bit microcontrollers like 80196, they come under the category of small scale embedded system. Now, as the size of the microcontroller is very small, 8-bit and the 16-bit microcontrollers, so the hardware and software complexities are also very low. And generally these embedded systems are battery operated. So because they are operated by the battery, so power consumption is not a problem in such embedded systems. So most of these embedded systems are battery operated. Now, when the coding is done in the small scale embedded system, because we have seen here that hardware and software complexities are very low, so their coding can be done in simple embedded C. Means in simple C language, the coding of such small scale embedded systems can be done. Also, if we talk about memory, so their memory will be small. Okay, so if memory is small, then we have to keep in mind that the programs and software and the data which is to be stored in memory, that is also be small. Okay, so these are the features of the small scale embedded system, that in such systems, the systems which are designed using the 8-bit or the 16-bit microcontrollers, they come under the category of small scale embedded systems. In such systems, the hardware and software complexities are very low. These systems are mostly battery operated, so power consumption is not a problem. The coding in these systems is done with the help of the simple embedded C, so there is no tough language used here. Also, memory requirement is very small, so memory requirement is a small, so programs and data which are to be stored in the memory, that should also be small. Now, if we see some examples of the small scale embedded systems, then its examples are simple temperature measurement embedded system, or a robotic arm controller. These are some example of the small scale embedded system. You can see that in the simple temperature measurement embedded system, no complex nature is there. Also in the robotic arm controller, only the movements of the arm are included. The next type of embedded system is the medium scale embedded systems. Now, the medium scale embedded system, these systems are designed with the help of 16-bit to 32-bit microcontrollers. Okay, so the size of the microcontroller used in this is increased. Okay, so here systems designed using 16-bit to 32-bit microcontrollers. So medium scale embedded systems are designed using 16-bit to 32-bit microcontrollers. So size of the microcontroller is increased. Now as the size has increased, so hardware and software complexities are also increased. Okay, memory size is also increased, and also in these systems they can have multiple, or they can also use the digital signal processors. Now, as I have said that if the size is increased, so hardware and software complexities is also increased. Also, these systems may include operating systems, means that such systems, they despite of these microcontrollers, they also require an operating systems. So there is an essential requirement for an operating system, and some of these may have a real time operating system in them. Okay, so when we are using these embedded system for some particular application, then they can either use the multiple microcontrollers or digital signal processors, or they can include a real-time operating system, or they can have for that particular application the application specific system processors. So these are the medium scale embedded systems. Now, if we see the examples of such medium scale embedded systems, then example is the ATM machine, pager, the fax machine, all are example of the medium scale embedded system. You can see that they are used for some particular application, and also they are including the hardware and the software complexity, okay, because here the coding of the system will require some complex algorithms in it, okay. Then the third type of embedded system is the sophisticated. So these embedded systems, they also have the high-end microcontrollers, means the microcontroller which are using like from 32-bit to 64-bit of the microcontrollers. So again, the hardware and software complexity is increased, memory requirement is increased, power consumption is more, okay. So they use high-end microcontrollers. Hardware and software complexity is very high. Okay. Also, when the designing of such systems is done, then design tools are also very sophisticated and complicated. They are complicated and costly also. They also use the real-time operating system, okay, for also there is a time bounding on the computations. Memory requirement is more, and power consumption is also more. So the sophisticated embedded system, they are the most complicated one and costly one because they are using the very high end microcontrollers. Their complexities is more, and also the design tools are very costly. Okay. Examples of such systems are the smartphones and multimedia systems. Okay. So these are the examples of the sophisticated embedded systems. Now, as we have studied that the embedded systems, they are classified into these three categories: small scale, medium scale and sophisticated embedded system. We have seen their examples also. So let's see here the application examples of the embedded system in detail. We will study that how these embedded systems, the examples of the embedded systems, they come under the category of these three classes. So first we will start with the small scale embedded system. The example of small scale embedded system is the automatic chocolate vending machine. The automatic chocolate machine is a system which is going to give the chocolates automatically. Means the customer, it is going to pay the money, okay. Then the machine is going to, according to the requirement of the customer, it is going to return back the chocolates. And if some refunds of the money is to be done, then cash is also returned back. So automatic chocolate vending machine, it is going to provide the chocolate automatically. Now how it's provide? Now this is a type of an embedded system. So in this embedded system, it will require a microcontroller. So this microcontroller is going to control the system. Okay. Also a display is provided, which is going to display various messages to the customer. Also, there will be a mechanism to accept the coins and the notes from the customer and to recognize that which amount, how much amount of money is given by the customer. So there is a mechanism to accept the coins or notes and analyze them to find their value. Now, based on that value, a decision is made by the microcontroller that how much money the customer has given and how much amount he has to actually pay. Okay, suppose that he has paid 50 rupees, but the chocolate is only of 30 rupees. Okay, so the mechanism, this system is going to accept that money. He will find that he has given 50 rupees and how much amount it has to return back, that will be decided. So according to that, decision is made. And return the extra money if it is there. So in this automatic chocolate vending machine, in this embedded system, we have seen that the various tasks that are to be controlled by the microcontroller, they are not so complicated. That these are just the simple tasks. Okay. Also, the circuitry which is involved, that is also very less. Okay, complexity is less. So we can say that this system, the automatic chocolate vending machine, this system, it comes under the category of the small scale embedded systems. Okay, so because here the task perform are very, tasks are not very complicated. Another example of small scale embedded system is the stepper motor controller for the robotic arms. Okay, so another example is the, now the robotic arm, it is a system which provides the different movements of the human arm. Like the human arm, it can be bended. Okay, it can be straightened up. This human arm can pick and drop the objects, pick and place can be done. Okay, so the robotic arm controller, it also provides the human arm movements. So to perform these types of movements in this robotic arm, we have a stepper motor controller. Okay. So stepper motor is used for the movement of the arm. Now, if we want to move the arm in a particular direction, so for the movement of the arm in the left, in the right, in the straight direction, we have to write the program for that direction. Okay, so for each movement there is a binary data sequence, that is program is there. And this binary data sequence, it is given to the port of the microcontroller. So here also we are having the main part as the microcontroller, and in the microcontroller the programs are written for the movement of the arm in the different directions. Okay, now because the movement is to be done in different directions, so here this system can also include different stepper motor. Multiple stepper motors can be used for the multiple movements. So in this system also we have seen that the tasks which are to be performed, they include just the movement of the robotic arm. Okay, they are not so complex. So microcontroller is performing very simple task here. So this system also comes under the category of the small scale embedded systems. If we see other examples of the small scale embedded system, then other examples are the digital multimeter. This digital multimeter is used to measure the current and voltage in the circuits. It measures current, voltage, and resistance. Also, we are having the small toys of the children. They are also the small scale embedded systems. The computer peripheral controllers, and TV remote, power windows in vehicles, temperature controller. So these are all the examples of the small scale embedded system. You can see that in all these systems, the simple tasks are there. Okay, they are not so very complicated. Also the microcontrollers, they just need some simple programs to be stored for the simple task. Okay, so this is the small scale embedded system application examples. So the next type of embedded system was the medium scale embedded systems. The example of medium scale embedded system is the router and the music system. So in the router is used to provide the network to a multi-computer system. Okay, so here in the router the programming is to be done. Okay, and this programming is very complicated. So here in the router, it is used in multi-computer system, and in this proper algorithm is to be implemented so that the different computers, they can be properly connected to the router and that network should be properly given to it. So proper algorithm is needed here. Protocol is to be implemented. Okay, so in the router, the protocol which is to be implemented, that should have synchronization for the communication. And also because it is used in multi-computer systems, so various computer systems, they are to be interfaced with the router. So we have seen that in this system, the complexity is increased, okay, and the because the algorithm complexity is increasing, so hardware and software complexities are also increases, requirement for memory is increased, and also the microcontroller or the microprocessor used, that is also have to perform the complicated task. Okay, so this is an example of the medium scale embedded system. Another example is the music system. The function of the music system is to play the music in different formats. So the music system, it play the music in the different format. Okay, so here we have the codec in it. Codec means the coder and the decoder. The combination of coder and decoder is called the codec, and this music system, it play music in different formats. Okay, so to play that music in different formats, here also it will require the algorithms for it. Okay, and a lot of algorithms are to be developed so that the music can be played in the different formats. So here the algorithm requirement is more, also its complexity is more. Not only the software, that is the algorithm and the programming part, but also the hardware requirement for this system is also very complex. Its hardware should be fast enough, and for the hardware and the software part, the microcontrollers used, they should also be of the highest size, that is from the 16 to the 32-bit microcontrollers are to be used, like high-end microcontrollers we can say, so that those microcontrollers can handle the memory and the algorithms can be developed in it. So the router and the music system, they are the example of the medium scale embedded systems. Some other examples of this system are the ATM machine, which is used for the banking transactions, the fax machine, pager, and PDA, that is the personal digital assistant. All are the examples of the medium scale embedded systems. Okay, complexity is more as compared to the small scale embedded system, but less than the sophisticated embedded systems. Now the third type of embedded systems are the sophisticated embedded systems. In sophisticated embedded system, the requirement of the microcontroller is also increased. Like here also we are going to use the high-end microcontrollers. The complexities of the hardware and software is also increased, means the algorithms are complex and the number of algorithms is also increased. And the tasks which are performed by the microcontrollers, that is also very complicated. If we see the examples of the sophisticated embedded system, then so examples of sophisticated embedded systems are the LAN system, the real-time video and the speech processing, then washing machine, digital camera, mouse, network security system, all are the example of the sophisticated embedded system. In such systems, we need the processors which are used for the specific applications. Okay. Also, the requirement of memory and the hardware and software is also more in these sophisticated embedded systems. So here in this video, we studied the classification of the embedded system based on the size of the system, that the microcontroller or microprocessor used in the system, the size of that microcontroller is going to decide the classification. On the basis of that, we classified the embedded systems into small scale, medium scale and sophisticated embedded system. We saw that what are the features of the embedded systems in these three categories. Also, we saw the examples of these systems, that how these examples come under this category and what features are required in it. So I hope that this topic, classification of embedded system, is now clear to you. Thank you.